All right. Well, looks like we're back. Hopefully, you enjoyed the last one. If you didn't see it, I did a volume before this about 7 relationship sales tips that you can use today in your profession, whether you work for someone else, have your own business, doesn't matter what field you're in. But basically, it was kind of a tongue in cheek comparison to some funny ones that we put out on April Fool's Day. And to eliminate any misunderstanding, I wanted to go back today and produce 3 new uh, volumes that kind of make light of what was funny on April Fool's Day and then talk about the real way to do things. So we're going to go into volume 2. And without further ado, I just want to jump right into it. This is number 8 on the list if you're following along. And it is, again, I want to stop for a second and say that when I share a pair, the first one is the quote April Fool's tip. Don't use that one. We meant that to be kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke on April Fool's Day, so I'm going to use that one just for a little bit of fun. And then I'll tell you the real strategy to use in your professional relationship building. So number 8 is be long-winded, but make it about you. If you can turn an awkward, unsolicited reach out into 2.5 printed pages, go ahead. They'll love you for your thoroughness. And bonus points if all your sentences can start with the word I. Now, if you didn't watch the last video, it goes into detail about why the letter or the word I, as in referring to yourself, is not a strong strategy if you're looking to build relationships. So just kind of keep that in mind. But that is the tongue-in-cheek or April Fool's tip, number 8. Now, here's the real way to do things. This is number 8 of the relationship sales tips that you can put into practice today. And that is be brief with your shares. And so it's not about you. It's about learning, about them through good questions. And that means that they're more likely to like you. So you got to kind of keep that in mind that if you want to be likable, it means asking a lot of questions in a original way that demonstrates that you're interested in learning about them. In addition to being likable, it also means that you know about who they are and their interests, and it also allows you to be more thoughtful in creating value. And it means you will eventually you'll create an opportunity where they'll eventually want to know about you. Ask questions, create connections, and then take conversations in meaningful directions. If you do that well, the people that you're interacting with are really going to enjoy conversating with you, and they're going to say, oh gosh, so and so is such a nice person, I really enjoy talking to him. And it's by asking more questions than sharing, and be brief in your sharing before you get back to learning more about them, and be genuine in your interest in learning about them. If you're artificial in your interest in learning about someone, it's going to be a disaster for you. If they know that you are artificial up front, that's probably not as bad as feigning interest and then being disingenuine with your interest in the person. So keep that in mind. All right, number 9. Again, the first one I share is the April Fool's tongue-in-cheek, and then I'll share the real tip that's beneficial for you as a professional. Number 9 is be a bother, but hope you're not. Now, where did this come from? Well, on LinkedIn, I've seen this a lot lately, and it's becoming a disaster. When you and I'm going to share a little bit more of the tongue in cheek. Reach out, tell them it's an honor to contact them. Be awkward, then thank them for their time, but ensure that you let them know. Hope it didn't bother them. Okay. I've received several messages lately via the private message and the sales navigator, and these messages are this long-winded thing about them, and then they say, hope I'm not a bother. It's really awkward, and it's definitely not helping them create any connections, and there's multiple people doing this, so obviously it's a little bit more than just a one-off. So that is the tongue-in-cheek what not to do situation. Now here's the real way to do it. This is number 9, and this is a relationship building sales tip that you can take in and put into place, and it should benefit you and serve your efforts to add value to other people's lives. And I'm sorry if there's a little bit of wind today. It's a little breezy outside, but it sure is nice here in South Dakota. Number 9, add value or don't reach out. Okay. Here's the thing. We're getting bombarded with tons of forced, awkward, unwanted sales pitches. Okay. If you don't want to be salesy, don't be that person. Okay. Don't be the person that reaches out and is awkward and it's forced and all that kind of stuff. Open a conversation and look for as many ways to add value as possible. If you're focused on adding value, the conversation will naturally take a productive turn in almost all cases. Sometimes, there's not a gel there, okay? But keep in mind that if you're focused on adding value, more often than not, you're going to be really pleased with the results of your conversations, and the people that you're interacting with are going to be pleased as well. So keep that in mind. All right, number 10 is, now again, tongue in cheek, ask for their details on the international platforms of trust. Skype, WhatsApp, or my personal favorite, email ID. I received a message on LinkedIn recently that someone asked for my email ID. I don't know whether that's my email login or what, but even if they were just asking for my email, super awkward. Here's the thing. This is a who's who of what's not to do is to interact like this. Don't ask people for Skype and WhatsApp. Ask them what their platform is that they prefer to interact on. So let's go to the real tip, okay? Number 10, the real relationship sales based tip that you can put into place today is to be authentic and not snoopy, okay? Now, I want to clarify, Snoopy is by far my favorite cartoon, fun fact, but here's the thing, don't be a snooper, all right? Don't be the person that snoops around and asks for details that you shouldn't be asking for. You can ask to stay in touch, but also ask how they prefer to communicate. Don't go asking for inappropriate contact details if you don't want to be thought of as that guy from the foreign country who wants to share his $100 million inheritance with you. He just needs to get it out of the bank, and you are the perfect person that he reached out to. So just don't be that person and be authentic. All right, number 11, your targets absolutely love, again, this is tongue in cheek, your targets absolutely love to be the target of your pitch. They yearn to hear your spiel, and they love to be dripped on as they get flushed down your funnel, okay? So number 11 in the real world is stop targeting, stop pitching, stop spreading spiels, and stop dripping on people and putting them in your marketing funnel, okay? Start making a list of people whom you would like to and can serve in a meaningful way, okay? That's your ideal audience. That doesn't mean that you necessarily are going to sell to them. It means that you're going to focus on bringing value to them. Some of those people will see you as a solution to their problem or problems, and they will naturally want to buy from you. Some of those people will just be grateful that you put value into their lives in some meaningful way. But here's the thing, words hurt. We're having this discussion across a lot of areas of cultures right now, and words can be really destructive. They can also be destructive professionally. And I do not excuse folks that say, oh, well, it's a part of the profession or something like that. No, hold yourself to a higher standard. Words like pitch, nobody wants to be pitched. Nobody wants to hear your spiel. Nobody wants to be targeted. Nobody wants to be in your crosshairs, your professional crosshairs. And people certainly do not like to be dripped on and put into your funnel. Okay, so keep that in mind. I know that may be a little bit adamant about that, but I would think that if you were to talk to people on the other end of the conversation as you are targeting, funneling, dripping, all that kind of stuff, they don't appreciate that. Okay. All right. Back to number 12. This is again tongue in cheek. Don't ask for permission or forgiveness. Okay. If you are networking, take their contact details and put them on your list. Don't ask, just do. Get her done. Okay. Again, tongue in cheek. Do not do this. This is just a joke on this particular tip. Now I'm going to tell you, here's the other side. This is the relationships based sales tip. And here's number 12, which is stop automating without permission. Okay. This is a really bad look for professionals right now. People are saying, oh, you got to put them on your mailing list. You got to, put them on your newsletter and all this kind of stuff. Like if you add value and you're kind in the way you do it and say, hey, would you like to receive my newsletter? It's got a lot of value added content in it. Well, that's a really respectful way to ask and be prepared to hear yes or no. Both answers are equally good answers. And Jeff talks about that, my partner in relationship sales. But here's the thing. If you do this without permission, it's a really bad look for you. It destroys your credibility. And if you don't think it is a bad idea, then you are part of the problem. Okay, I cannot say that any other way. You are part of the problem. And unfortunately, you just may not be aware, or you're excusing it because you think it's okay. But you're not part of the solution, and you're not helping all professionals rise by behaving this way. It's called permission-based marketing for a reason. And then here's the thing, you want to tell them what you will and won't do with their contact details, and tell them up front, okay? Here's the thing, you need to ask. You need to ask for everything, whether it's in sales, marketing, life. If you want a refill on your coffee, that is a form of asking, okay? Now, here's the thing, when it comes to marketing, following up with contacts and stuff like that, you need to ask. Don't just all of a sudden miraculously come up with their contact details. I'm going to give you a true example of a situation. So the last couple of years, I was part of a national networking group, had a lot of fun in it, met a lot of neat people, okay, and decided that it was no longer a fit for me. There was an individual in that group after I left, long after I left, like 6 months after I left, who somehow got my contact details and put me on their mailing list and reached out like I wanted to be a part of this. I could not block this person fast enough, okay? You want to talk about a great way to look like a heel as a professional? That's a great way to do it, is to just slap someone on your list and don't even ask for permission and don't care whether you're hurting your relationship with them or not, okay? So I can't drive that point home enough. I'm seeing it more and more. It is not a good look for you professionally if you just start slapping people's emails on your mailing list without their permission. And that's a great way to destroy your credibility if you had some to begin with. So, all right, let's scroll back to the tongue-in-cheek. Okay, this is number 13, I believe, on the list, which is automate, automate, automate. Okay, automate because some expert told you that everyone must do it. Good, you listened. Okay, don't look for mistakes in your automations. If it's automated, it must be perfect the first time, and certainly it's the right thing to do because some expert told you to do it. Okay, so that is number 13, and that's the tongue-in-cheek version. Now let's go to the real way to comport yourself. Okay, automation, I want to be real clear about this. Number 13, this is the relationship-based sales strategy, relationship building strategy that you can put in place right now. I want to be real clear about this. Automation is not bad, all right? But there are plenty of goobers out there that are abusing it, all right? And it gives it a bad name. Plus, sound guidance dictates that if everyone is doing automation, you might lend it some attention, but you will gain more attention with a focus on building relationships and doing what everybody else is not doing, okay? If you put a zebra in a herd of horses, or you put a horse in a herd of zebras, it's going to be the singular one that stands out. The same thing is true in gaining attention in productive ways in professional situations, okay? If you are intentional about this and not following the pack, then you will not be the second loser, or the first place loser, I mean. So what I mean by that is that when someone does something unique, okay, they are the market leader because they did something truly extraordinary, and they've captured people's attention and they've captured their interest through various channels, entertainment, fun, great storytelling. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But here's the thing. The people that come along and try to copy just become the first place loser. Second place is the first place loser. And if you want to try to do what everybody else is doing, it's not going to help you in the long run. And just because of the fact that someone says, hey, you need to automate all your reach out and stuff like that, well, it can be a portion of your overall strategy. But if you think that that's going to get you the ends that you want, you're going to be really disappointed, because think about how many other automations are out there that are reaching out to those same people that you think are just waiting for your automated message to come. All right, number 14, which is the last of this second volume, and then we'll come back yet again for a third volume today to go over these tips in total. Number 14 is details are not important. Just get your message out. Spelling errors, who cares? Grammar is for losers, okay? Again, tongue in cheek. All right, now here's number 14, and this is, again, the relationship sales way of doing things. Relational people wow with being polished and remembering details. Being approachable and authentic while being professional is the perfect trifecta of being magnetic. Remembering details when it comes to your interactions and messaging is an Easter egg that too many overlook, and thus is an opportunity for you, okay? So here's the thing. Whether it's your digital messages, whether it's how you present yourself in person, it's the details that matter. Now, it's okay to be human, all right? But here's the thing. If you send a message to your dream connection that you think that if you get connected with this person, this company, whatever, it's going to be life-changing as it comes to your professional pursuits, and you're sending a message with a whole bunch of spelling errors and grammar errors and stuff like that, well, that's probably not going to put your best foot forward. All right. Now it's okay to be human, and sometimes you do, but you got to kind of, if you send a message has an error in or something like that, that happens. Okay. If it's one, it's probably not a big deal. If you are running sentences together and no spaces in between periods and stuff like that, I'm not here to grade your grammar and your spelling, but I can tell you that that stuff matters, especially to a lot of decision makers. Same thing's true in person. Okay. If how you're behaving is just, kind of transactional, and I need to go have a conversation with this person now, and it's really like, hey, how you doing type of thing, that can really turn people off. Being genuine, approachable, authentic, professional, those things, when they're put together well, creates a really good formula for strengthening a bond when you meet a new person. But done in the wrong way or not paid attention to at all can really put you in a bad spot when it comes to how you're presenting yourself professionally, whether it's online or in person. Okay. So anyways, come back for the third volume if you can. I'd love to have you on, and feel free to leave comments. I do encourage constructive criticism and constructive dialogue. If you have something to share, we're thrilled for it. And also to share, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat. But we're glad if you're paying attention to this today. And like I said, I'll be back for a third one here in about a half hour. Take care. See you soon.